So I built this tree house 20 years ago, and I wanted to put an elevator on it. So I got a 3-horse reversible 220-volt electric motor, coupled it to a Volvo 4-speed transmission, and then coupled it to an 8,000-pound tow truck winch. And then I do have a dead man switch on here, which I have to hold continually in order to, that way if I die halfway up, I don't get wound up in the winch at the top. I would say probably one of the earliest interests that I can, really recall in life was just being aware of my love for elephants. And I always said, as the youngest child, when I get big, I'm going to get an elephant. I mean, I was just as sure as that. And so when I got to be an adult, I was still saying, well, someday I'll, get an elephant. And later in life, I got to a point where I was like, well, I used to say that when I got big I was going to get an elephant, but I've kind of put it off until, my next form of existence. And then I got thinking, it's nothing I have to put off. Elephants are alive, they're on the planet, they're accessible, I just have to go to where they are. I became highway superintendent, or at least interested in running as highway superintendent, after spending maybe 5 to 6 years as a very dissatisfied resident, complaining to the previous superintendent about the condition of our roads. Finally, in 2005, I went to him, which was an election year, and I said, so Bill, I says, tell me when I should expect to have my road fixed. And he goes, oh, I'll have it fixed by, say, middle of May. And I was like, that'd be great. I said, Bill, I said, I really appreciate your attention. I said, by the way, if it's not fixed by May, I says, it's election year, count on seeing me at the polls. I like this view of the full dress with all the plows, and you can kind of get the gist of the snow flow. 30 miles an hour, the blast of snow is just coming out, knocking mailboxes over by the dozens. And then you hang the wing out, and if you didn't get them with the snow, you can get them with the wing. It's kind of cool. I experienced a really intense anxiety in my being until I was about 10 years old. I needed, transportation. One of the greatest things I've ever done, I think, is just go. Just take the sleeping bag and saddle up and go for a ride one day and end up out in California or Florida or Maine or one corner of the country or another, or out of the country up in Canada or Mexico. 350,000 miles of motorcycling with a sleeping bag and no motel rooms. I mean, you really get to know who you're dealing with in yourself. You really learn to connect with, a piece of iron like that. And for me, every piece of iron I come around has a soul. It really, I can tell when I get on a piece of equipment that's been violated by someone. You can tell just in the way it reacts to you when you try to become one with it. And I don't let anybody ride my equipment. It's a personal relationship that I have with every piece of equipment that I've created or built myself or been involved with. This is a little creation I made a few years ago from spending time over in Sri Lanka. They have these engines over there. They're always used as in a stationary application. I wanted to build a vehicle out of it. The motor weighs 640 pounds. It's 10 horsepower diesel, hand crank. I used to pose in front of it in different positions, just imagining that I had a little tractor that I was driving, and so I kind of really had it all visualized before I ever bought my own motor over there and shipped it home. And then I shipped it home and started building it. And this here's my starter. spurs are kind of special. I put these on my boots when I'm riding my motorcycle. You can see that I've got a couple of layers of lug nuts welded on here. So when I'm riding my motorcycle at night, I can drop these down into the pavement and blow dual sets of sparks off the heels of my boots. And when I wear down a lug nut, I just weld another one on. I can get about 10 miles out of a set of lug nuts.
From as early in life as I can remember, I've always had dreams of flying. Many different ways of flying I had in my dream. And I knew when I got older I wanted to get my own airplane and learn how to fly.
At this point, I've owned 9 airplanes. I've been flying for almost 18 years. I enjoy the flexibility of having 3-dimensional movement in the sky. There's no limitation. You can go upside down. If you hold your positive G's, you can go upside down. You can't even tell except for the visuals outside the window. It's really a feeling of freedom, of movement. That, and I love interacting with a piece of iron that turns me, it makes me bigger than I am. I become one with it and I become a bird. I'm not easily satisfied. I'm not satisfied until I've achieved my goal. And I wanted to fly. I wanted to have my sense of spiritual connection with my own airplane, and I wanted to do aerobatics and be free to fly around. My plane lives right here at my house, and anytime I feel like I need a fix, I just jump in it and go.
Early on in my term, the media got a hold of the fact that a newly elected highway superintendent lives in a treehouse. One of the guys who called me was Peter Nelson. Peter Nelson, he's a great photographer and takes pictures of tree houses all over the world and puts together calendars and books as well. In fact, I've been looking at one of his books and owned it for better than a decade. And so he called me and wanted to come out and take some pictures of my tree house and maybe put it in the next book.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I really took to it and just loved it.
No kidding. So now in the end, do you even have a license or do you just fly? I know we're being filmed, but whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a license.
That's excellent. I love that.
Yeah.
Way to be.
Yeah,
That's
I've had 9 airplanes, 16, 17 years of flying. It's been great. Done everything I've needed to do with it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Way to go. Wow.
Yeah.
A rebel.
You'll stand
Stay
in this
in that
corner.
corner.
Yeah. Replace this floor once in 20 years, needs it again.
This is great.
So this is the second one.
I'm fascinated by this railing. You're not too concerned about kids falling off here. That's good. They know they don't want to fall off here.
No, a tree came down and broke this one.
Mm-hmm. Look at this. This is great. I mean, this is the way it should be. With codes these days,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to be able to put a 4-inch sphere through any part of a railing. In theory, that's
Wow.
like the size of a kid's infant's head.
Oh my goodness.
But
4-inch?
4-inch.
You can't put your
Yeah.
can't
So
put
everything's
your foot
just.
through it. Yeah, no, that's
It's over the top.
yeah, that's too much. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a bad idea to have another lower rail,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
Used to, but don't
Kids-
anymore.
Yeah. Kids have a remarkable sense of self-preservation too. Actually, it's not like they're gonna want to come out here. And... Nobody's fallen yet. Good.
The real success to the amount of freedom I've had in my life is not making a lot of money. It's not spending a lot.
Right.
Living in a treehouse as opposed to spending the next 30 years of my income
On a
times
mortgage,
3
yeah.
for a 30-year mortgage.
Yeah.
You know,
go.
So
you can put it into a Cessna now and then.
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. I don't make any more money than anybody does, but I just don't. I don't live that lifestyle.
So when you're in the jungle, is that where you're doing your elephant thing, or is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. And are you tracking them, or you're training them, or
Skidding logs usually.
skidding logs?
Yeah. They're handling these huge logs that are heavier
And
than I
they're
can
just-
handle with my backhoe.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They'll use their tusks like forklift if they have tusks.
Yeah.
Scoop under them, wrap the trunk over the top, and pick it up and set it in there. And then when they get to set it down, they move the trunk and then boop, with the tusk and click it into place.
Wow.
Either that or my
Wow.
friend Sumani Banda there. His primary responsibility is the Pinawala Elephant Orphanage, which is a herd of about 82.
And they're all various stages of
Life,
youth,
yeah.
adolescence, and
Yeah,
up
babies
to adults.
Yeah, babies are being born there to very old elephants. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be pretty magical.
It is. It
Yeah.
really is. And then the emotional aspect of those huge creatures.
Yeah.
They want to be affectionate. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's different, you know.
Sure, they
but
have their own personalities.
some of them want to be affectionate, and they'll come
Yeah.
over and
Hang
know,
out with you.
Yeah, they want to be loved.
Yeah. Yeah. How great is that?
That's really great.
God, changed your life. I mean, it
Oh
did
yeah,
yours.
yeah.
When I do take the time to walk the labyrinth, it's just taking a few minutes out of my day to do something for me and walk into the labyrinth. And it's a beautiful location, and when I get to the center, I just breathe and look up to the heavens and just feel gratitude and so grateful to be alive and be healthy, be safe, and it's just a wonderful little time out for me. One of the experiences I have as I walk the labyrinth is that I don't understand all of what I'm receiving in that time, and that with or without the understanding, it's still coming to me. I've learned in life that there's way more going on than what I will ever understand, and I just accept that.
In years gone by, as a child, it felt like I came into this world with everything that I need and everything that, every interest known. And it was somewhat frustrating as a child because I so wanted it all at once. And I just had to wait for each stage of life to come to me as it was meant to.
Well, they say that Santa Fe